today. So once again, I am your online learning coordinator for this subject, social issues and professional practice. So for today, we will discuss the week 9 of this subject or the module 9, and we'll be focusing on this topic, cybercrime. So let us talk about the course learning outcomes. So by the end of this module, you are expected to be able to define cybercrime and other terms connected to it, determine the categories of cybercrime, understand the conditions and penalties of the cybercrime law of the Philippines. Lastly, understand the aspects of cybercrime and its social consequences. So these are the topics that we have to uncover, or we have to cover rather. Cybercrime, the computer crime law in the Philippines, categories of cybercrime, computer system attacks, motives of computer crimes, and social and ethical consequences. So let's start with defining cybercrime. So cybercrime computer crime involves a computer system either as an object of a crime, an instrument used to commit a crime, or a repository of evidence related to a crime. So, talking about the computer crime law in the Philippines, also known as Republic Act number 10175 or the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012, this has been signed into law by the late President Aquino, Ninoy Aquino, on September 12, 2012. Its original goal was to penalize acts like cyber sex, child pornography, identity theft, and unsolicited electronic communication in the country. So these are the charges for this crimes that may be committed in the cyberspace. First, for cyber sex, this is prison mayor or 6 years and 1 day to 12 years imprisonment or a fine of at least 200,000 but not exceeding 1 million. While for child pornography, fine from 500,000 to 5 million and maximum jail terms of reclusion perpetua or 20 to 40 years. For unsolicited communication, this is just arresto mayor or imprisonment for 1 month and 1 day to 6 months or a fine of at least 50,000 but not more than 250,000 or both. So the law also penalizes offenses against the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of computer data and system, such as illegal access, illegal interception, data interference, system interference, and misuse of devices and cyber squatting. So there are three categories of cybercrime. First is cyber piracy, using cyber technology in unauthorized ways to reproduce copies of proprietary information or distribute proprietary information in digital form across a computer network. So any form of cyber piracy is, of course, against the law under this law that has been passed in 2012. So cyber trespass as well, using cyber technology to gain unauthorized access to an individual's or an organization's computer system, a password protected website. So this is more on hacking activities. So it can be to a form of, let's say, for example, using a computer virus, something like that. So any form of hacking. Cyber vandalism, using cyber technology to unleash one or more programs that disrupt the transmission of electronic information across one or more computer networks, including the internet, or destroy data resident in a computer or damage a computer system's resources or both. So that is under cyber vandalism. So it's more of also not more of hacking, but it's more of like destroying data. Say, for example, in a database or um, bringing damage into a computer system's resources, for example. The major computer attacks fall into two categories. First is penetration. When we say penetration, it refers to the process of breaking into a computer system using known security vulnerabilities or gain access to a cyberspace resource. Penetration attacks originate from many resources, including insider threat, hackers, criminal groups, hacktivists, and cyber terrorists. So basically, um, the main reason why they would like to do this penetration is, of course, to enter into the computer system or to destroy any data or to control that, say, for example, that website. So it is also um, the actions that are being done by some hackers. All right, and of course we do have denial of service or DOS, distributed denial of service. This aims to exhaust the network bandwidth, its router processing capacity, or network stack resources, thus eventually breaking the network connectivity to the victims. So when we talk about distributed denial of service, this is the process of like sending thousands or multiple requests or illegitimate requests to a certain server, then it may cause like a heavy traffic into that server that in such a way that the server will not be able to take actions to those legitimate requests, and it will slow down the system in general. So this is also a way of hackers destroying the system in that way. So some motives are political activism with data, joke or hoax, the hacker's ethics, terrorism, extortion, hate, and personal gain, fame, or fun. So basically, these are the motives of these cyber crimes, um, like people who are doing or performing cyber crimes. And some social and ethical consequences are the following, like psychological effects, moral decay, loss of privacy, and trust. The most commonly experienced here by victims, say for example, for child pornography, is psychological effects. If they will not undergo, say for instance, a some sort of psychological um, so if or psychological therapy, if they will not undergo through that, then it will have a huge effect these children who are victims of child pornography as they age. And of course, moral decay, loss of privacy, and trust. So basically, that's the end of the discussion for this module. I hope that you have learned something from this discussion, and I will see you again with the next topic that we will tackle. Thank you so much for listening and have a good one. Keep safe.